Hey everybody,
Hey.
it's me and Cheryl.
Yay.
I'm having kind of a low energy Saturday, and so I thought what I would do is just go ahead and make some dinner, hang out with you guys. You can, if you're hanging out live, great. If you're watching it later, great. And then tomorrow we're going to do a scheduled live at some time that we will actually decide what that's going to look like, right? It's very interesting. So first off, some of you have seen me talk about this. So this is my 360 pans that are stainless steel and vapor locked, and it goes on this slow cooker base, and it cooks because it has 4 temperatures instead of just the normal low high. It'll cook a little faster, which is why I picked it. I was going to use my slow cooker with the owls, which is the cutest.
Nice.
Don't you think it's cute?
It is cute.
And wherever you guys are, tell us hi, what you doing this weekend, what's going on. Yay, Apple's here. I was hoping you were going to be here because, like, look. I think I'm sure you know more about mushrooms than I ever will. But so I got some mushroom grow bags, and I did not follow all the instructions properly. But look, this happened anyhow. I'll let you guys see from, we don't have our, here we go, camera switcher. And that camera's not on. No, it is on. Huh. Let's see. I'm going to show you up there. Hey, Valerie. It's good to see you. And Joanne is here, and Lisa is here. Oh, my God. All my favorites. Okay, here we go. Look. They're a little dry, so I've got to go read. This happened like in what, Cheryl?
A couple days.
Like 3 days. So
yeah.
I had undone it, and then finally I wasn't sure if I had messed up because some things had been growing, and all of this happened. These are the pink oysters.
Like literally, we went to bed one night, and then the next morning we got up, and I was like, "Oh my God, have you seen those mushrooms?" Because they were so huge, y'all. I mean, and then of course today the funny conversation of like she's decided we're going to use those to cook with, and I was like, how do we know that those are not going to kill us? So
because usually I don't spend my hard-earned money for things that would kill us, right? But no, because these are Italian oyster mushrooms, and some of these actually, I don't know if it's because the heat was on last night, but they're a little dry too, but they're going to loosen up. Mm-hmm. And if these came from the fridge, I would totally be using them now too. But I'm showing you guys up close all the beautiful ones. Look. And I kind of messed up, and I messed up the 2 of these, so I'm getting not quite as much. But look how beautiful. And like the gills, it's just gorgeous. So I was really kind of beating myself up last week about these. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's going to be dinner. And a couple of these like even have dried out more just sitting here. So if you had dried mushrooms, and I also have some chanterelles that I got at Costco that we're going to use another time. I know. And these kind of give a whole porky sort of thing. Like they're a really good ham replacement. Or I think when I had bought some at the market, I made fried rice with them.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It was really tasty.
Yeah, they taste different than other mushrooms that I've had, so it's kind of interesting.
They are a little thinner but thick. Like if you compare those two, they're thinner than like those.
Yes, ones, yeah. They are thinner than some of these. So she's saying the cap and the coming out is a little bit thinner. There's also some blue oysters, which are really nice. Oh, Linda, she loves all the mushrooms. Me too. And Lisa's walking her doggies. High 56. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 72.
Oh, it's 72 degrees.
You can tell we haven't been out of the house today.
We haven't been out of the house today, but this morning I was kind of freezing, and then later.
She just took a sweatshirt off like 5 minutes ago.
I know, because now we're actually going to buy some clothes because a lot of our clothes are too big right now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of exciting. But the one t-shirt I bought in like 2019 at a Veg Fest, which is like 'tis the season to be vegan, y'all are going to see that a lot. So let me just warn you, because it's the first time I've been able to wear it. So that's 4 years. So that's kind of cool. Ooh, and Linda says she just made a huge batch of mushroom black bean Three Sisters chili with 3 pounds of baby bell mushrooms pulsed in the food processor. That sounds delicious and super smart. Hey, Nona, how's it going in Rome? Are you having a good time? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't get very far before I stepped in. The weather's been really bad. I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow. We have friends that are actually in Italy right now.
So far, we've only had rain, but further north, it's flooded. Oh, no. I really have not read the news all week, so my apologies.
Yeah, we have been so busy. Work has just been like crazy. We have just been going nonstop since we got back from the conference. And I mean, it's like we just can't get caught up. There's just not enough time in the day between my day job and then all the stuff Kathy's got to do and then the stuff I've got to do to help. I mean, it's just been like insane. Like we just like last night we finally left the house and we went to
we went like all different places. So like
I had to get my hair cut. So
but she's still wearing a hat.
But we kind of because I didn't put anything in it today, so it looks kind of like crazy town. So
it's okay. So what I thought we would do, because I was going to put something together. So again, I'm using the 360 slow cooker. I have a bunch of slow cookers. There's no one slow cooker that you need to have. Could you make this in the Instant Pot? Yes, and I'll see if I can figure out what I would tell you to do in a minute. You could, of course, always make everything on the stove, right? It just works out that way. But I have some canned beans. I had some cut up carrots. I had some cut up acorn squash from something else I made earlier. Cut up some couple baby potatoes.
Oh, look at how little cute those little baby potatoes are.
They are
teeny tiny little potatoes.
They are teeny tiny little baby taters. Look. So, and these are the mushrooms that grew. And also we may have dropped the block. That was another thing.
Yeah, that was right before we went live, so that was not a fun experience.
Oh, Rebecca, that's scary. She's saying she put us on AirPlay so she could watch us on the big screen. I feel like I should have combed my hair better or something.
Make sure you want to do that.
So
it's no shower Saturday, y'all.
Yeah, no shower Saturday is a thing in our home. Linda served that with sweet potato, spinach, or kale. And I was thinking I might put a handful of greens or spinach in this at the end to finish it up. So I just have this can of cannellini beans. You could leave the aquafaba in, but I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of it out. I don't know why.
Because you're probably going to make something else with that aquafaba that you forgot you were going to make.
Well, it's very possible. But I always save the aquafaba from cannellini beans, navy beans, chickpeas. You can save it from kidney beans and black beans, but it doesn't always work quite as well. But if you're making like black bean brownies, I would totally use it. This is so thick.
Wow, it is.
It's really, really. Can you guys kind of see how thick that is? Let me see if you can see it from the top. Yeah, it's very thick. So that's kind of nice because if you make your own chickpeas, of course you have your own aquafaba. Oftentimes it's very thin, so you need to reduce it on the stove until it's about that thick. So let's go ahead and start putting some stuff in here. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. That's so sweet. And Game Changer RN says almost 80 degrees in Sacramento. Sending holiday cheer and lots of sunshine your way. Yay. Oh, it's Juliana. I thought it was, I can't see. We see the teeny tiny little pictures, so sometimes I don't always see. It's so good to see you. That's awesome. Okay, so And we've got more things to show you too. I hesitate to say a new toy. I'm going to go ahead and just put these beans in here. And you can make twice the amount of this. But what I'm wanting you to get out of this is you can look and go, oh, I have some stuff. What should I do? And just make something. Because sometimes that's what dinner looks like. Mm-hmm. Dinner looks like whatever you happen to have in your head. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's just my homemade bouillon. You can get that recipe on healthyslowcooking.com or plantbasedinstantpot.com. Just look up bouillon. I'm going to put half a tablespoon of garlic in here. So I'm thinking garlicky will be good in the broth. I've got some water. Excuse me. Cheryl's trying to hand me water. I'm like, I don't know. I thought maybe we would put a little port wine in here and put a little bit of miso. So I'm going to probably put about a tablespoon of port wine. It'll just really bring out some of the good flavors of the mushrooms. I'm not going to saute anything. And see, I'm just smushing these because they were out for a couple minutes. That's just under 2 tablespoons. And if you were standing next to me right now, what do you smell? It smells very strong of wine and alcohol.
It does. But
what's going to happen is as you cook, that's going to combine with everything else. So notice if you start doing something like that, this is probably a 1/4 cup of carrots that I had diced for something else. I'm going to take some, I could leave these mushrooms whole, except there's just a couple of big ones, so I could take that and tear it in half, or tear it in smaller pieces if I want. You could cut them too if you wanted to. I'm just kind of taking them apart a little bit, because I want them to really be a star of the show, but I don't want them to just seem like a hunk of meat. I want us to get a little bit in every bite, if that makes sense. And like I said, these mushrooms are a little bit dry, but cooking in the stew will reconstitute them. And also remember, if these were starting to get dry and I didn't want to make a stew, what I could do is just finish them off on the dehydrator, and then we could store them for later too.
Or you could make mushroom powder.
You could make mushroom powder. Why would I not want to make mushroom powder with these? Well, I paid a premium to get this block. And these are fancier mushrooms. I tend to rarely make mushroom powder out of the fancy mushrooms. What I do is imagine that this is a really big white mushroom. I just take the stems and pull them out of the holes. And that's what I dehydrate. Because those are like $3.99 a pound. And okay. These are like $30 a pound. And that's really the only reason why. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I can go in there. And then let's go ahead and put in, and I'll get back to your comments in a second too. I decided to cut up some potato. And I cut up baby potatoes about the same size as this acorn squash. And this was not a whole acorn squash. What did I put acorn squash in recently? Oh, when we roasted them. Okay, so let's take a look in here. Oh, Paul Duncan, look at you hanging out with me.
Hey, Paul.
Paul Duncan, it's Uncle Paul.
Good to see you.
So it's always good to see you. I wish you could come over for dinner, because this is going to be yummy. So we've got a little bit of port wine. If you don't imbibe or do any kind of alcohol at all, totally just put a little balsamic in there before. We may finish this with a little balsamic anyhow. And hey, Claudia, you are so awesome. Oh, Vegan Knowledge, JJ is here. We're going to be on her YouTube show later on this month, which will be great. Okay. I'm being distracted. I'm like, squirrel, comments. I will stay with the comments. How
about recap what kind of beans that you used in there?
That is a great idea. I used a can of cannellini beans. I used I drained them, but honestly, you don't have to. If we were cooking in the hotel room, that would have gone right on in there. But I'm saving it to maybe make some sort of holiday baked good.
And those are oyster mushrooms.
Italian oyster mushrooms. Yeah. Don't leave out the fancy
the
part.
Italian part, yes, that we actually like.
Look, Mom. Look what I made. Look, Paul.
They actually grew in our
house.
Own house. Like,
these are pink oyster mushrooms, and they're just drying out more like as we're talking. I think I need to get a spritzer and spray them, but I'm going to read the instructions because that's what I would tell you to do. So that's what I should do. Okay, so the flavors I'm trying to get from here. So we're going to get some of that deep darkness from the mushrooms, right? They kind of give a beefy sort of flavor, even though Italian, and I think I want more mushrooms in here. I'm going to tear up some of these really pretty ones. The port wine is going to kind of support that kind of wintry autumn loveliness. And then when we've got some things kind of in the middle, we've got carrots, we've got potatoes, we've got acorn squash. Now, I want to go ahead and add some miso in there too, because that'll add our salty element. It's got a different kind of umami than the mushrooms, right? But
I just want to stick my finger in there.
I know Doc Rock, my video coach, makes miso, and I've been threatening to have him on. I'm going to put about 2.5 teaspoons of miso in there. We can always up that before we serve if it's wrong, because y'all, I'm making this up right now. So this is how you make stuff up. In case you're like, I can't make things up. Sure you can.
This is kind of like, what do we have and what can we make to use those mushrooms?
And what are we in the mood for? So I'm going to make sure, I'm going to kind of cut, not really cut, but kind of break apart the miso a little bit so it'll be easier to dissolve. I'm going to put probably about 3/4 cup of water in here-ish. We can always cook out the water if it's too much. We can always add more water if we're at home. So if this is a new to you slow cooker, you would always be doing it the first time at home. Ooh, did it?
Just slow.
Woo! Get back in there. No escaping for you.
So I have a question.
Absolutely.
So since this is going to be a stew.
Yes.
How will we eat that? Will we just eat it like it is, like we would a soup, or are we gonna put it over something, or what were you thinking? We could do either. Look at her being so sweet and thinking that I'm thinking, right? This has been a week, y'all. This has been a week. There's not been a lot of thinking going on. I was in a 3-day class from 11 to 8. Yeah. I need to, it was a great class. I learned a lot, but I need to not do that for a very long time. Hey, Betsy. And it's awesome to see you. And Vegan Knowledge says, I heard mushrooms are one of the only food sources of a small amount of vitamin D when they get sunlight. That is really interesting. Should be good. They're right by the window over there. Yeah, it is. They are actually by the window, and so I have one package kind of hidden because I did a bad thing. We'll talk about that more when I do the right thing with the mushrooms. I will do what I'm supposed to do, and I will show you on a live. And Barbara says, didn't even know you were live. I didn't tell anybody. Yeah, it's just for us. Yeah. No. So I didn't even know. Joanne says, I have a mushroom grow package, but with our move to Georgia, they can be anywhere in the house or garage in a box waiting until I don't want them, which is when they will show up. Yes. Well, I put them away because I didn't read the instructions, and then they had kind of started growing. But then we opened the box, but we didn't open the bags, and they started growing. So that was a little bit of a mishap, and I thought... I didn't think about them being in the foyer with us having a skylight in the foyer. I thought, oh, they'll be okay in the foyer. It's not very much light down there, but alas... I put them right under the skylight.
It's okay. It worked out okay because I really thought what was it, like Tuesday? I was getting ready to throw these out because nothing had happened. Something had happened and then it kind of died. And I thought, well, and I just procrastinated. And then magic mushrooms came out and it like worked. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she actually.
I felt better about it. I wouldn't have told you, I don't think, if it had gone that badly.
She actually put them by the window because she was like, I'm going to throw these out, but I'm going to set these over here right now until we can throw these out. And I was thinking we had to go to the compost bin or something. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that tonight. And because the compost bin is way out the front yard and it's very snaky out there, even.
Well, it's because it keeps getting to 70 degrees. I mean, there's not supposed to be any snakes, but we go on a walk and we see
snakes. So, yeah. So, anyhow, then we just kind of were like, okay, those are going to the compost bin. And then the next day we were like, what? Like, they literally overnight just went
so big. And so it was like all around the sides. Whoosh. And I can even show you from over here.
I mean, it was crazy.
I'm really quite impressed. And I was slow on the draw because I'm in the subscription. So I'm on my third subscription of these that's going to come in. But they had some on sale 2 days ago, but they're all gone. So this made me look a little sad, but it was kind of all dead. But this just popped up the past couple of days. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. And all of this popped up the past couple of days.
So it's so insane. It's kind of cool to watch, though.
It is.
It still makes me a little nervous. But
why does it make you nervous?
Because, you hear all those stories about mushrooms.
Oh, she's reading in the news now.
The lady tried to kill her in-laws with the mushrooms. And I'm just like, oh, y'all, I love mushrooms, but now I got to be afraid of mushrooms a little bit. Because what if somebody doesn't know what they're doing?
Well, we won't eat mushrooms from somebody who
Although
doesn't.
I think that lady knew what she was doing. But
Okay, I feel good about this. You can't taste much now, except for the miso, and somehow that made me happy.
So will the miso make it taste kind of Asian, or will it just give it more depth?
All the Thanksgiving food that I had made for Canadian Thanksgiving, I want credit for that.
Yeah.
I finally made it early, and none of that tasted Asian, right?
No, not
all of it used miso for the salt because Dr. Greger talks about miso salt being a little more easily accessible. So I thought it would be neat to do that. And you couldn't tell that I used anything different, but it's kind of like it just adds that little twinge of darker and then salty.
So this is mine. So are you going to make a separate one for you?
What are you talking about? I don't think so.
I'm just thinking that looks really good. I'm going to want a lot of that.
It does look really good, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got our veggies in here. You could put in some sauteed onions or something. I didn't want to be bothered.
Onion powder to the rescue.
Yeah, I think I have my onion powder over here. So, and I use onion powder and garlic powder a lot. I also use that already cut up garlic like I did today. So I'm probably going to put about a half a teaspoon in here. Not very much, just enough to give it a little bite. And as you can see, it's getting a little bit clumpy, but it will unclump in here. And I was thinking, let's see, let's put another like quarter cup. So maybe 1 cup of water. And I think that we're probably looking at about 2 cups of mushrooms. They don't have to be fancy mushrooms. They can be whatever. They could be cut up and minced more. I want to have a big, super hearty piece of that. And the last thing I'm going to do is, this is one of my last good pieces of rosemary, because you guys remember I can't grow rosemary for what. Let's go ahead and put in, this is some fresh oregano. These are things that, because we did get a hard freeze. I think I'm going to go ahead and put all that in, and then I'm going to put a little handful of thyme in here and let all that kind of infuse, and we'll get the stems out when we're making it, for dinner. I'll just throw that in. You could...
Are those the pokey ones?
Sometimes. They're sometimes pokey. Here, will you plug that in?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, one of the reasons I like this one, let me move it to where you can see, is see how this has 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is like warm, low, high, super high. And that's where we're going. And you know what? I'm going to add, if this was a normal deal, I would just add, I'm going to add another half cup of water.
Yeah, because that thing cooks like fast.
It does cook fast. It does vapor lock as well most of the time. But here's the thing. If all this cooks and sticks on the bottom, I'm going to be very sad and have a very bad day. If there's too much liquid, either I can use it as broth or I can just take the lid off, leave it on 4, and let that liquid evaporate. And that'll work too. And also concentrate the flavors in the broth that's left. Nice. And that's a good reason to do that.
You know, I likes the broths.
You do likes the broth. And I think you were trying to talk about the rice cooker. But let's see what questions we have. Yay! Hey, Debbie. Well, we just came on and we just said, let's make dinner and talk. Let's see. Which company? Can you tell me what we're talking?
I think she's talking about
the mushrooms are North Spore, Spore. I just felt like I was at the spelling bee. So North Spore, and you can get these block kits, and then you get to pick beginner, or advanced. Smartly, I picked beginner, and I think it's a good idea because I messed up. Yeah. And I still have these, and so like I said again. Even if it's one of those things where I can't spritz them, because I know a lot of times you can get these grow containers where it keeps the humidity up, and our heat coming on because there was freeze took a lot of humidity out of the air for us. I love that. And Joanne says, I love using miso as a salt. Paul says, I'm catching the next flight. Keep it warm till I get there. You got it, Mr. Paul. Oh, hey, Davika. It's awesome to see you. We are doing well. Yeah, onion powder and garlic powder are magic, especially if you're using your slow cooker. Sorry, it's going to be loud, but I'll move it so you guys can kind of have that in the peripheral. And the reason is that you can, if you are this person, I salute you too. But go to Costco, get a big thing of onions, peel them all, chop them in your food processor, put them in a slow cooker, cook them all day, all night. They're going to be beautiful. They're going to cook all the way down. There's going to be the sweet, lovely flavor of it. And what you can do then is put them in ice cube trays, or like super cubes for like a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 1 cup, and you just pop that in your slow cooker, and you're good to go for probably the winter. That's how I make my bouillon.
Your freezer will stink for a little bit. Just saying. I've opened up that door before. I've been sent to the freezer and opened up the door and been like, ooh.
That's when I do the fresh onions. So sometimes I just chop the onions and I just put them in a container in the freezer.
Oh my God.
And she doesn't like that.
I don't like onions. You all know I don't like onions. And so that's just kind of like torture, sending me after something after the fresh onions have been put in.
Miss Aubrey's in the house. It's awesome to see you always. Right? Yeah. It is a groovy slow cooker. Mm-hmm. It is, I will also tell you in the same breath, the most expensive slow cooker I've ever seen.
It makes good oatmeal.
It does make good oatmeal, but
I think it's kind of like weird that the most expensive slow cooker that's in this house does not have an on-off button.
The base on this is a little bit weird. Like it has that extra 4th temperature, but you have to plug it in or unplug it to turn it on or off. Mm-hmm. So it definitely has some cons. The first con to me is that it's like $350. Mm-hmm. So just being real with you. But I will say, and I hate to say this, I don't want to say it, it is my favorite and we use it more than the others. And the reason for that is because of that. I can, like, it's 4:00 here. This means we'll probably be able to eat before 8:00.
Yeah.
possibly even with what I have, we're really just heating it up, cooking down the mushrooms, and all the veggies are cut in small pieces. And the other thing is you can use these, it's not a container, it's a pot. So you can use it on the stove. It's not just an insert for something.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so expensive, because the pot alone is like $250.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. However, if you're on a budget and you're like, I just want to be able to slow cook, check out your local thrift store. Super inexpensive. You should find some there. I know I don't have, there are, look, there's pumpkins. You can't see a lot of them, but there are Halloween decorations back there, Miss Mia. How are you doing over in Spain? And yeah, I agree. I just wish it wasn't quite so expensive, but I love it. You are one of my favorites. Of course you are. Yeah, it's Halloween all year at Kathy's. That's exactly right. You guys don't see, we got a whole mummy canister set that's over here. I just moved one out of the way.
I love the mummies.
I have all the different size mummies. So when it's time to go Halloween shopping at like Home Goods, the reason I go like 3 or 4 times a week all through September to get my goodies and update the house.
If you wait until closer to Halloween, you don't get anything. Like, there was no more Halloween in the stores by end of September?
Well, there was
just a little bit.
There was a little bit, but like by the time it was like, let's say normal people, and by normal people, I mean people who don't get as excited about Halloween as I do. Like what? You're going to October 1st through October 15th, and then there's less and less and less, except for costumes. Yeah. Ooh, Debbie. I heard somewhere that oyster mushrooms can help with depression and anxiety. I've ordered them every week since I've heard. Well, I will be a test subject because I've been a little anxious because last week was okay. I've been a lot anxious because we were traveling, and then I just didn't have any downtime, which triggers me. And then I also wasn't in control of anything.
And then we kind of needed some groceries, so we had to go to Costco. And y'all,
last week, on a Tuesday.
It should not have been crazy on a Tuesday, but oh my God. And it wasn't like it.
That is when my anxiety started this week.
It was so crazy. And it just that's what really set her
people
off
were like right all up in my business.
And then you had those all day meetings right after that. So, I mean, it was there
was a lot of people.
There was a lot going on.
Quality people in my class. So I took this really cool class, where I could get kind of clearer on my goals and stuff. So it was really nice, but that's too much peopling, even with people I like. Which miso do I recommend? I would probably get an organic miso. For this, I'm using a red miso, but honestly, I will interchange them. A white miso has a little bit less umami flavor. You could get a darker miso.
You normally get those at the Asian market. So
yeah, so I could show you which one this one. I think this one is from the Asian market. I will also, in a hot second, get them at Aldi's or anything like that too. And I've gotten some packets, actually. I think one's over here. Did I move it and put it away? No. So this is a darker miso than the red. So it really is kind of dark. I'll see if I can show you. See, like dark. That's not it being covered.
Yeah.
And that is hacho miso. So usually if I see one that I haven't tried before, I'll get it. So I would use organic because it's usually made with soybeans, right? Most often made with soybeans, but you can also get a chickpea miso as well. So that works.
Alicia's asking, can she use the Instant Pot?
Yes, you can, Miss Alicia. Look at the whole ECAM fam is coming to hang out with me. Did Doc just get off of his live? You can use the Instant Pot, and probably what I would do is put everything in there. usually I think of what's the longest cooking ingredient, and that's going to probably be the acorn squash or potatoes that I really minced up. So I would probably do 8 minutes on high pressure in the Instant Pot. I just put everything in just like I did this. And you could either do a natural pressure release or a manual pressure release. Either one is going to be fine with this because you have a lot of wiggle room. So what I mean is natural pressure release means I just go about my business. I come over and the little pin's dropped. And
would you use the same amount of water? Because this one cooks really hot, so we used extra water.
I would use less water. I probably would only use enough water to pull up to pressure, so about a half a cup of water. You could also use broth if you wanted to instead. I use bouillon cubes and miso as kind of flavoring the broth. Natural pressure release, depending on the model of Instant Pot you might have the one that you do like this and it goes so you literally just have to stand there and do that for a long time, because if you just pop it on, all of a sudden water will spritz up and stuff. I have the Instant Pot Pro, and the best part there are two good things about it. One is it has these two little handles. It goes on the stove. I count that as one. And the other is that it just has a button, and it has like a system where it mists out. So I can, even with a soup, something completely liquid, I can pop it over and it doesn't spray water everywhere. Yeah. So keep an eye, because I'll be keeping an eye out for like Instant Pot sales. And
I'm much less afraid of that one too.
Yes. But you can get things like cool little dragons on Etsy, and my dragon doesn't fit anything anymore, which is why. So it's really cool though to put it on the steam valve, and you have this 3D printed plastic dragon with steam coming out of its mouth.
It's kind of magical.
And I always do. I miss doing that, going wow. And those of you who've not seen it are like, Kathy is finally losing her mind. I hope she feels better after eating these mushrooms. Oh, Real, it's awesome. You were not late.
Nope. Right
we just magically appeared.
Yep, and you're right on time.
And Betsy's saying, is the base of the slow cooker kind of like a burner? It is. It's very similar to the West Bend slow cooker bottom. Mm-hmm. So it's like this warming pan, only this gets really hot. It really does cook quite hot. And the West Bend ones are rectangular. Or at least if you look at the old ones, you might find them in the thrift store. I see new ones every once in a while. Okay, let's see this. And Miss Annette has a question. I have a 7-quart slow cooker. And we've got this in the 4-quart slow cooker. And most of my recipes are for a 4-quart slow cooker. So you can double them if you're going to use like a 6, 7, 8 or something like that. But have recently been brave enough to try the slow cooker function on my Leo Slayer, aka my 5-quart Instant Pot. I find it much lighter to deal with. Yes. And I have feelings about the slow cookers getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because I know that not everyone, there are other voices in our community who are good friends of mine who are like, get the biggest one that you can. Mm-hmm. But I also think if there's one or two of you making 8 quarts of chili that you're going to have to eat for the next 12 months is a little hard. Mm-hmm. Now, that's my opinion. You may be on team make all the chili at once.
If you're a batch cooker and you're a batch cooker, that might be an okay thing. Because you're always making extra large portions of stuff.
Well, just think about us. I'm not even cooking in batches, but I freeze a lot. Mm-hmm. And our freezer gets full really fast. So if we made 8 quarts of chili,
we wouldn't be able to.
We wouldn't have room for me to then make 8 quarts of soup and 8 quarts of rice and 8 quarts. So now that's us. But we have our freezer up here, and we have a full-size door freezer downstairs.
Chocked full.
But then when something happens with a friend, we can just run over a whole bunch of food, which is really awesome. The only thing, if you're using the slow cooker function on your Instant Pot, it will work with this because it doesn't mess with my 2 rules of the things you do not do in an Instant Pot on the slow cooker setting. The first one is bake. Okay, it's already weird that you're baking in your Instant Pot or you're baking in your slow cooker. You cannot combine the two. That's how I try to remind myself, because I make a carrot cake in the Instant Pot. It's beautiful. It's no oil. It's super moist because it's steamed, right? And when I'm baking in the slow cooker, I have the lid up and I have like a spoon in between. But now I will have, look what I got for Halloween, you guys. Is this not the cutest? It sits on a spoon. I'm so happy. So that's one of my Humane Halloween. If you guys are vegan and want to see that, they do a gift exchange every year. And that's one of my cool things I got. So you let it out and you have a towel to catch that condensation so that you're not cooking this quick bread, pumpkin bread, that's only getting more and more and more moist. So it's never going to dry out. So you see how they have their problems already. So don't meld the two. The second thing that's really weird about you shouldn't cook in your Instant Pot on the slow cooker setting is dried beans. I don't know what goes on with it, but I had someone who cooked lentils for over 2 days that never softened on the slow. Now, can you cook dried beans in your Instant Pot on the pressure cooker setting? Yes. So that's what you should do. But since this has canned beans, you could cook that in your Instant Pot. I hope that makes sense. Real says, I found the mainstays small slow cooker runs hot. Yeah, a lot of the small slow cookers will run hot. And she prefers the Crock-Pot brand for overnight cooking. And the thing is once you get used to your slow cooker, you'll know if you need to add extra liquid or less liquid. So let's say you go right now to a thrift store and you find somebody's Mima's Crock-Pot. It's going to be awesome. It's going to make the best oatmeal you've ever had. And it could take you forever to cook some other stuff, but it's just going to take, it's a different thing than now. Food safety laws changed. So actually the temperature of low is much different in the old one than the ones we've been able to get for like the past 15 years. So that's part of it. So the temperature change and food safety laws, and it has nothing to do with us vegans. Barbara says, I just ordered a 3-quart Instant Pot from Amazon Warehouse. Yay! I love that. Keeping my fingers crossed. Me too.
You've always had really good luck with the Amazon Warehouse, so hopefully you will see the same kind of good quality that we have.
I know. I wish I could have a way to make her just sit on my shoulder. But can she sit on my glasses?
Maybe.
That doesn't look cute.
It doesn't. No. That's not good.
You remember when you were like in junior high and you put the present bow in your hair, and that was very, very fancy. That's how I was feeling there, but it didn't work. Angela's here with us. Debbie loves the witch. I know. I was so excited. I've been wanting one of these for so long. Oh, that's great. Joanne loves her 3-quart slow cooker, and I just put I was going to put
Instant Pot.
Oh, Instant Pot, not
Instant
slow cooker?
Pot, yes.
Because I'll show them the owls.
Oh.
This is you can't buy it anymore, and don't spend like $90 to buy it from some horrible person on Amazon.
I think when we got it, it was like $12.99 or
I don't know. I've had it forever. This is my 3-quart baby girls, my little twin owlettes. And that's just a plain old slow cooker. Yeah. And it works great. Brand. Yeah.
Got it at the Kroger years ago when we still had a Kroger.
Yeah, I miss the Krogers. Okay, so the other thing we were going to do, because I'm going to make some rice in, and I'll show you what we're going to make rice in. Well,
I think we might have mentioned the other day that
we broke our Vita clay.
We broke the Vita clay.
So, and also, Apple, I think Cheryl may have gotten me what you have. So see, it has this really nice clay. Can you hold that? Container. So we just bought a new insert.
Yeah.
We'd had that old insert for at least 12 years.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what might have
And
happened.
like this thing, at one point, something got on here and burned this thing and melted the plastic. I can't remember what happened with that, but it was...
Yeah, we've had this a long time, but it's great.
But it still works. It works fine.
Yeah, that's just like a little
It's just
holding
the plastic,
spot.
so...
And so this is what we usually cook our rice in. And
I'll grab that.
Apple, you were saying you had one that's kind of like a slow cooker. This has a slow cooker function on it. But then Cheryl did some coupon magic.
Which Cheryl had to use a coupon before it expired.
And so this is by the same people, the Vita Clay. And I'll show you from up so you see it a little bit better. And so this one is saying it's more slow cooker and yogurt maker. We haven't opened it, and we'll do a proper unboxing. But I don't know. I was just wondering, Apple, let us know if that's what you have, and then we can go from here. I'm thinking, does it say how big it is? It's 2 quart. So it's a smaller one.
Yeah.
But I love me a 2 quart slow cooker. So I'll let you guys know if it cooks about what I think. So it's got low, high, and yogurt settings. And this is the clay insert. You know, they say things, and there's third party lab tested, no toxic metals or chemicals. I literally combine those words into like a word that exists and means something completely different. I know Cheryl is super good with the coupon magic.
You know, they send you coupons and those like Kohl's Cash and all that kind of stuff, and then Macy's got the Macy's Cash stuff. And thanks to having to get new clothes, I had some coupons. So
it's true. We are buying a lot. Well, we're buying some clothes.
I gave away. I don't know if all of you know, but we talked about it on one of our Tuesday shows. I gave away 4 bags of clothes.
Like trash bags.
Like trash bags, big trash bags full of like sweats and t-shirts and dress shirts and jeans and shorts. And I gave away 5 winter coats that were like in almost immaculate condition, because like I'd buy a coat and then I'd wear it for that size, and then the next time I'd have to go down like a smaller size, and then the next size I'd have to go 2 sizes up, and then so I had all these, you know, from the back and
pandemic
forth.
has been a hot mess as far as that's concerned. But yes, Tanya was saying our faces are looking thinner. We have lost some weight. I think both of us have lost about 30 pounds so far. Last month our goal was just not to gain weight, and we lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah. A little bit.
Not
like we had been, but with all the travel and stuff we were doing, we were just happy to not gain.
And when I said that to Chef AJ, because we were talking about the holidays, she goes, that should be everybody's goal over the holiday. It's just not to, you know, that's a great goal. Because I think sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but my brain can get super crazy. So like I will double down on all the things when it's hardest for me to do. And one of the things we are going to be doing, and I haven't scheduled these out yet, is on some of the holidays, we're going to go live. So we're probably going to go live on Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. We'll probably go live on some other holidays too. So, and Apple's thinking of getting that, and you'll get the smaller one. Okay, great. Then I'll see what I can do and try and start cooking some different things. Maybe we'll make some oatmeal and some rice and some different things and see what happens. I'll research it and tell you. It got mixed reviews, Cheryl was saying. So I'll tell you what I think about it.
Some people were saying that it was perfect. Some people were saying that it had hot spots and things. But all slow cookers have hot spots. So you just learn to deal with it. And
let's see. We are feeling pretty well, except I'm a neurotic little bunny right now. Other than that, it's just because I keep thinking I'm all better from our travel, and by all better, I wasn't sick, but it makes me nervous to not be in control and not know what's going to go on, which is weird, isn't it? I can like be like, ooh, here's some stuff, let's make dinner, and I'm okay with that. But if it's like, I don't know what time the class is and what time I'm going to eat today.
She turns into a middle schooler at a new school. And just like the brain just goes, I can't cope. So yeah, she has to. Then when that happens, we have to be very regimented, and I can't like do my loosey goosey talking and things, because then I just make it worse. Because my thing is, when I get amped up, that I can't communicate well, I can't say words well, and so I'll say half sentences. So when we're both in that place at the same time,
it's not pretty.
Nice. It's not nice at all.
But that's what marriage is. It's the good and the bad, right? And of all the things, that is not so bad.
And speaking of marriage,
yeah, I don't know where we're going with this.
You know, we're doing all the things to take better care of you, and we've got a surprise coming up later. After Kathy's done with all the cooking portion of this show, we've got a surprise coming up of something that's going to make me a clean freak and make her happy.
It's true. It's true. So a company reached out to us, and because they reviewed the Branch Basics, which we've been using ever since we got Branch Basics too. If you guys haven't seen that video or you had some questions, there is a referral code. I don't care if you use it or not. And it's $55 for a bottle, but that bottle
lasts a long time.
It's a concentrate, and it took us 4 or 5 months to go through.
4 or 5 months, I think.
And we put it in we make our hand soap from it, our dish detergent from it, we make our laundry soap from it. All these different things and we got some travel ones, and we carried them with us, and that's what we washed our dishes up with and cleaned things up. It was pretty cool.
See, do we have any tips for cleaning the top lip of the Instant Pot? Oh, around that edge.
She's your girl.
Man, let me tell you, that thing gets so nasty. And it's really hard because of the way that the metal comes out, around the top. I get creative when I'm trying to clean up her messes. We all know that. And sometimes the stuff is like really cooked on or really baked on, or something overflowed because somebody doesn't pay attention to if she's got a big enough pan or not. And
talking about me.
So what I do, and your mileage may vary, but we have all these like bottle cleaners. Like they look like pipe cleaners on a thing. Yeah. Speaking of
Halloween decorations, we have an owl.
Yeah, the owl.
Full of all the things. Some of these came with the milk makers that I used. But these OXO ones, these 3 come as a set. And don't forget, you can show them from up top. So
okay.
I'm going to make rice and leave her alone.
So anyhow, I'm going to show you from down here because I think you can see better. So these brushes, they have, they're kind of really stiff. They're little stiff brushes. They're not that big. I mean, this is my pinky. It's about as wide as my pinky. And then this is the little, like, I don't know, bottle brush type little deal right there. That's the usual pipe cleaner feel. And then this one is a little bit bigger version. You can tell I've used it to death of the stiffer brush thing going on there. So anyhow, these are the things that I use. And if it's like underneath that metal part, I'll like use this and try to get in there and just kind of scrape around it a little bit till I get it loosened up. And then I'll take one of these and then I'll just kind of go around the edge, and just kind of go like that, kind of get it moved to a place where I can then take a wet paper towel or a wet rag and just try to like get that stuff in one spot so I can get all the gunk out of there, and then run it through a few more times with just some soapy water on a rag and kind of clean that up. There's also these sponges that also are good for that. Let me grab one of those.
Okay.
If you're looking for something that's more reusable that you can wash, we have some of these sponges like this that we got at TJ Maxx or one of those places. And they're real thin. And so You can put some soap and water on there, and they've got a little abrasive kind of side to it, and you can kind of work that in there and work around the edges, and it'll get real clean that way too. So that's kind of the way that I clean everything, is I kind of just start working on it and use the varying tools that I got. And sometimes I have to get creative and like create a tool, but most of the time this little bucket of things right here will take care of it for the most part.
I do agree with that too. And so my answer would be get a Cheryl and some of these, because what she's really, really good at is being just meticulous. And I'm doing all the things. So like I have to be in the mood to just be there, but sometimes I am, but you're always ready for that task. So,
and since we've been, are you ready for me? Are we ready?
Not quite yet. Let's looking at the comments. Okay, Liz says, I bought the $5 sample of Branch Basics. It's lasted months. I love it. And if you already have things like foaming soap dispensers or something to put laundry detergent in, you don't need to buy the one that I did the unboxing with all the different containers. You can get plastic containers for everything or glass containers. It's a little expensive to get the glass containers from them. So if you already have them, and because we do have some glass spray bottles, you could use those. Also, we got these Umbra foaming hand soap things, and so it's one of those that I put my hand under it, which I'm not going to do because it'll squirt out.
It's very sensitive sometimes too.
But what's kind of cool is it actually has the same line as those do. So in case you are using something like that, this was a nice find for the kitchen especially.
And we have one in the guest bathroom as well,
because we found another one. Aw, Javinga, you guys are so sweet. See, whenever I'm in a bad mood, I just need to hang out with you guys because you're the best. Great question. Why would you use a slow cooker over an Instant Pot? Sometimes, sometimes for me, I like just throwing stuff in there and then letting it cook all day. So like if I know I'm going to have a really busy day, we do much better if I would have thrown this in this morning. Had I thought it through, I would have, and then magically we would have dinner. So I feel like the difference between an Instant Pot person and a slow cooker person, and I use this example as someone who goes out in the world to work, which we don't do as much. So if you have a little bit of energy in the morning, you can put together dinner, but you don't have much energy when you come home. Slow cooker. If you're like, I'm going to set myself on fire if I go in the kitchen in the morning person, but you've got 15 minutes in you when you get home, an Instant Pot's a great choice. But I use both. I love using the Instant Pot for soup stews. It'll hold really well.
Well, and a lot of times
you could hold in the Instant Pot too.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times you'll use the Instant Pot like we just like all day long. Both of us have been too busy, and we talked about like, I talked about making rice in the rice cooker and all this kind of stuff. And then now it's got to the point where, we just need to throw something in really fast, or I forgot to make the oatmeal the night before. The Instant Pot is great for that.
It really is.
Just knock it out. And
some of it's just personal preference. And, I used the slow cooker all through, like, since graduate school, like a lot. So it's really easy for me just to go, I got some stuff cut up, I'll throw it in here. Or literally, you're too tired to cook for tonight, you could put this on the stove too, or in your Instant Pot. A can of pinto beans, a can of black beans, a can of kidney beans, drain it or not, live your best life. Put a little mushroom powder in there, or some chopped mushrooms, a can of corn or some frozen corn to about the equivalent. You could even put in any kind of cut up vegetables that you feel ready to do, or chop up some broccoli slaw, throw that in there with chili powders, garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of cayenne if you want to, some ancho chili powder if you've got it. And it's a magic dinner. And you get to be lazy. You get to be as lazy or as not lazy as you want. So, okay. So if we're talking about going to eat things on the McDougall program, if you're talking about specifically the McDougall program is a no added oil program.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. McDougall would not say it's okay. We eat 90 to 95% McDougall. So we sometimes will eat out at an Ethiopian restaurant, even if they can't make it without oil, because that's within the allotment that we allow for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to look at you and what you're feeling. And also if you're on like Dr. Esselstein's program, which is for heart disease, and you go on that so you don't have to have a triple bypass, that's a different state of mind than we're in. You know, Cheryl got off most of her diabetes medicine when we did the McDougall 12-day program in July. My liver numbers are coming back good. So at that point, we're feeling we're not done, but we're also not feeling like, oh my gosh, every single thing we put in our mouth needs to be accounted for absolutely properly.
Right.
But we eat McDougall compliant usually 95% of the time or more. So some weeks we eat 100%. We don't go out. Mm-hmm. Pretty much when we go out, we're not eating French fries or deep fried vegan Oreos.
That's the thing. Like when we say we go out, we don't all of a sudden just completely go off the reservation and go to Outback Steakhouse or something like that. We like go to like an Asian restaurant where we know we can get vegan goodness. We go to an Ethiopian restaurant where we know we can get vegan goodness. Like we always make sure that even when we're doing our 5 to 10%, that it is always vegan.
Right. And then also we try to go as healthy as we could. So when we were in Salem, we had a piece of vegan pizza. So there was some vegan cheese on it. There wasn't very much vegan cheese actually, and the crust was actually not oily at all. Yeah. But that was a luck of the draw.
Right. Your mileage may vary on those kinds of things.
Oh, thank you so much, 12M.
Also, when we were in Salem, we also found a restaurant that was a bowl place that was so yummy. And we were able to get like teriyaki tofu kind of thing. So, and with lots of vegetables, we had broccoli and carrots, and
it had so all sorts of stuff in it,
and then just a little bit of tofu with just a drizzle of teriyaki sauce on
and there was probably some oil in the teriyaki sauce, but I think there wasn't oil in anything else. So again, you can always go to the restaurants and ask if they can make it without. We just kind of like being in our 5 to 10% when we can.
It keeps us able to sustain doing the McDougall program for the rest of our lives.
And Apple says, I like my Instant Pot for prepping grains and starches, and it's awesome for that, but my slow cooker for making a yummy meal. I prefer the taste of food made in the slow cooker. It does give it more time to meld, though the pressure comes pretty close to doing that. And in fact, the one tip I can give you for Instant Pot or slow cooker cooking is taste before you serve it. If you're making something with Asian or Indian flavors, you might want to add a little fresh ground ginger in there, a little extra garlic powder. The garlic isn't going to cook enough of that out in time. The ginger will. Always taste. If I'm doing either one, I keep the spices that I'm using. Like this one, I use fresh herbs from the garden. So what'll happen is as I'm tasting it later tonight, I might get my dried herbs and put a few things in there if I need to. But just always taste. You always do it on the stove. You need to do it with these other cooking methods too. I think that's a hard no. If you semi-intentionally cooked with a likely burn warning in the Instant Pot to cook something not super wet and figured you would just deal with the cleanup. So let me explain that. So the burn notice will go on, especially some of the newer Instant Pots are kind of like the newer slow cookers, and they cook hotter. So let's say you're making rice and you open it and your rice is still a little crunchy. If you put a half a cup of water in there and turn it back on, it may or may not throw a burn message. So there's a couple things you could do. If it throws a burn message, it's going to stop and be on keep warm kind of. You can leave it like that and it will cook enough to steam that rice. I had a small Instant Pot that would just send it. I couldn't cook rice in it. Like even just, I put the water in, and I usually use about 1.25 cup water to 1 cup long grain rice, put it in there. And so it would just throw a burn notice, and I'd just leave it in there for about 15-20 minutes, and it'd be all just fine. Mm-hmm. So the burn message usually means things are too heavy, like split pea soup. You cook some split pea soup, it's not all the way done. You want to try and heat it up again in the Instant Pot? No, just put it on keep warm, put some water in there, and just let it go till it's ready, or transfer it to the stove. It will not come up to pressure. There's just no way. There's not a size crock pot I'd recommend for a newbie. I'd want to know more about what is it you're wanting to cook, how many people are in your household. So if you tell me a little bit of that. Oh, thanks, Valerie. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you hanging out with me today. So now what Cheryl keeps saying, so this new thing that we have, they contacted us from they saw our thing about Branch Basics, and so there's this cleaner thing that cleans with heat and steam.
It's a steam cleaner. Well, it's a steam vapor cleaner.
And I'm going to let her talk about it. But like one of the things that they did say, because we were talking about what should we clean, because we're going to do little demos, because this is how I'm making Cheryl do her cleaning errands over the winter.
This is her Christmas present. Is me going around and cleaning all the things. Right?
But he was saying,
and bringing you along with me is the plan.
So you can support
you guys
her through
will
this cleaning.
See, like the dog couch downstairs is like the ultimate goal. We're going to get to the dog couch probably, and so by sometime after Thanksgiving.
Our dog who passed was on the couch a lot, and so was our cat who passed a few years ago. So they were old animals, so it was very drooly. And Cheryl had talked me into, when we moved into this house, of getting an off-white couch. Which
I never thought that the animals would be like all on the couch. I don't know what I was thinking. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking.
The dog sleeps with us,
and so
right?
and so I was like, she doesn't typically get on at the old house, she never really got on the couch. So it didn't really but it was because the couch was so tiny, I guess, is why she didn't get on it. So then I get this big giant, L shape.
And it's a really nice couch. And we got a couch in between that we paid a lot of money for that broke down really quickly.
Yeah.
And so we've moved it downstairs. So the idea is we have a downstairs kind of den area that's going to become like our winter hideout.
Yeah.
So, and then there's carpet, but like they were telling us about some things. So there's a hotel, a bed and breakfast was using it during COVID to clean all the things. That Cheryl knows more about this than I do, but I said, what about the count? Like, can we clean because we have cork floors in here, and they hold dirt. Like if you saw it, you'd be kind of grossed out.
Like they hold, like,
it just holds everything.
What I try to clean the floor with, it has never worked. So, and the thing is, we got to be real careful with this one, because it's going to depend on how this was sealed, and we don't know, because we bought the house after this was already in here.
Yeah.
So,
but we're going to try on some different things. But the thing that kind of made, because I was like, what? Do you have some suggestions? These are the things I'm thinking what we were going to do. Mm-hmm. And so he said, do you know that it's cleaner to eat off your toilet seat?
No, it's cleaner to make a salad on your toilet seat than it is on most people's kitchen counters.
And I'm like, that's where all my Branch Basics goes. I'm like a counter. Like before that, I had a cleaner they used to make with thyme, and then I've used bleach ones. But I'm just like, so.
Well, and the thing is, like with chemicals, okay, and we're trying to take all the chemicals out of our house that we can, because we've heard.
Because liver.
It'll help her liver. And so we want to do everything we can to make sure that we take care of that. And so, like, one of the things about using chemicals on your counter is, if you read the instructions on most of these chemicals, they all say that you have to spray this, and then you need to let it sit there for X amount of time. Because we've all grown up, and we've all, like, all we do is we take the bottle and then we immediately wipe it up. We're really not doing that much good because we're just like leaving half of the stuff on the counter still.
And I try not to think about that because I'm a little bit germophobic about things, which is why I'm constantly spraying stuff on the counters. But like, since this kills the stuff with actual heat and vapor and stuff, do you want to just do like, so we're going to do a proper like demo and everything coming up, but I just kind of wanted to see and kind of gauge you guys' interest too, because we were super excited when they sent it to us.
Yeah, I'll let you answer some of these potato questions and I'll grab it and I'll show it to everybody.
Okay, awesome. And Delia, you missed me making a stew, which is delicious, and we've just been chatting about slow cookers and Instant Pots, and now we're looking at the Ladybug vapor cleaner, which is something we're going to do some different demos about, but it's a non-toxic steam vapor cleaner. And you know what, TS, I think there's a mushroom broth I know there's a mushroom broth in one of my Instant Pot cookbooks. It might be on Plant-Based Instant Pot, and you could just throw in some whole anise seeds, and that would kind of help it out. You could also add in some different things, but I don't personally have a pho broth because Cheryl doesn't like it. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have it. And SFOS, stews for 2 to 3 people. I would say a 3-quart would work really great for you, a 3 or 4 quart. And those are usually the least expensive. If you can't find a 4-quart, a 5-quart will be fine. Can't find a 3-quart. A 2-quart, it's hard to stretch it for 3 people unless it's like 2.5. You kind of have a toddler or a small child. If potatoes have green on them, should I throw them away? It depends. Okay, and Vegan Knowledge also says, I heard the green is because light hit them and can make you sick. Wonder, though, I had to throw a lot of them away being scared. Okay, so let's talk about this. So let's see, do I have any right now that are green? I think I'm kind of, here, let's talk about, I've got one with stuff growing out of it. Okay, yeah, these are 2 good examples. Ha! All right. Okay. These have big eyes. So the bigger the eyes, the more it is. But do you see how this squishes? Can you see it squishing? It's soft. It's not like going to fall apart soft. There's lots of these bumps. I would say this one's too far gone. This one has a couple of eyes, and usually you'll see these smaller eyes and people throw it away. And the green can be a little bit toxic, but you can take it off. So let's just do this really quick. Oh, there's no green on this potato. This potato's fine. So I would come in and like little things like, oops, here we go. Little things like this are to get out the eyes. So you just kind of come in here and you scoop them out because you need to get the eyes out. That's just little plants trying to grow out of there. And honestly, I'll always have some potatoes like this, and I cut these in sections and put them in my flower beds and let them do this beautiful potato kind of cascade of greenery. But if it is green and you take this off and you see a little bit of green and you can cut it off, I think it's fine. We've never gotten sick. If it's soft, no. So does that make sense? And I don't think I have the other, yeah, here's another one. So I'll show you this too. So this has a better scooper, and those scoopers are just for eyes on the potato. So see? Scoops it right out. And you've got the whole thing out. And now once you peel it, it's fine to eat. All right, let's see what else we got. So that's what I say. If you're in doubt, I try to keep my potatoes away from the sun, but it doesn't matter. They've been in this counter. They get no sun, and they will, when it's spring and warm, they start growing all the things for sure. Aw, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It says, I appreciate all your wonderful, helpful advice and recommendations. Debbie wants to see the full steamer demo. Okay,
Yep.
awesome. And it's going to be just a little bit now. Cheryl's getting it together because we haven't even really played with it. This is the very first time we're taking it out. And I like to go ahead and, if it's hard for us a little bit, then it'd be hard for you. I will say the customer service people were amazing. They met with Cheryl, talked to her, and everything. This is not, much like this is not an inexpensive slow cooker, this is not an inexpensive cleaning device either.
But it's the last cleaning device you'll ever need. Because this thing is amazing. Is it okay if I
Yeah,
set
just
it?
come on in.
We'll clean the counter with it.
Yeah.
So anyhow, this is the Ladybug, and it's the Ladybug 2350. And it's just, it's amazing to me. Like, when I was talking to the customer service guy and he was telling me all the things that you could do with it, I was just, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, well, we'll just do floors and counters and things like that with this. But no, because of the way that this uses steam vapor, it doesn't have a lot of water that comes out. I mean, there might be a little bit of drip that's going to come off of the gun and things like that at first.
There's a whole bunch of
And
accessories.
a ton of accessories came with it. Like, you know me, I love the gadgets. There's like a gadget for everything in this thing. And one of the things that
Ooh, look, there's a cornery thing.
Oh,
like seriously, I've not looked at this, so I'm just like, ooh, for the bathroom or
wait
the
till
floors.
you see some of those things in there. You're going to just be like, oh my God. So, and
Cheryl talked to the people, not me. Can you tell?
So, yeah, she's just all ooh and ah, but she'll never touch it, right? She might once she sees how good it does, though.
Yeah, there's a little scrapery thing.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in there.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to use that on those tonight. I'm going to use those on those jars that you need the labels taken off of. Because this thing, it uses steam vapor that's dry, right? So...
Do you need me to plug this in for you?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
So, anyhow, she's got me completely off. Like,
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet now and clean up.
The thing is with this, right, is because it uses steam vapor, it's not going to be like, okay, everybody's used one of those carpet cleaning machines or whatever. And so in my mind, when we got this, I was like, oh, it's a carpet cleaner, right? But no, it is not just a carpet cleaner. You can use it on carpet, and it does so much better than just your average carpet cleaner, because it's using that dry vapor, so you're not getting all that water that's getting shoved down into your carpet that's going to sit there for days trying to dry, and then everything stinks like mildew because it never dries really good. And with this, you just take it and you move it quickly across the stain and whatever you're trying to get up. It's going to be great for us getting up cat puke, dog puke, all the things.
Sorry to talk about that around food.
But the thing that makes this stand out more than anything else is this tank's technology. And I have written down what it means because I cannot remember it. It is thermo-accelerated nanocrystal sanitation. And it's basically
a lot of words.
It is a lot of words. But it's kind of cool what it does. So it's this internal component that's factory installed, right? And what it does is it uses the minerals and stuff in your tap water to actually make them crystallize. And then they get, it's kind of pressure in here, like there's a lot of pressure, and the crystals get pushed out with the steam as it's coming out to help clean things. I mean, I think probably in one of the demos I'm going to do is show you an actual video from them that explains how all this works.
That's a good idea.
The tank stuff. But it blew my mind. And like the fact that it's the opposite. This is the thing that gets me, is like, I'm always worried about scale building up, right? I'm always worried about the scale and this and the scale and that. And the thing is, like, this is kind of
I'm just laughing because I'm like, I'm blissfully unaware of those things.
I'm always cleaning that ice maker, right? Always trying to do all this thing. And then like like my CPAP machine, things like that. Always have to use distilled water because you don't want to get no scale on there or anything like this. And this actually uses those minerals that are in that water for the power of good. So this is like a Kathy special, right?
I know.
Because Kathy always likes to use like things for the power of good.
Well, I always say my favorite saying is use your neurosis for the power of good. A little anxious, bet you'll get that stuff done today, right? Maybe not, but sometimes it works.
But with the tanks technology, the thing that impressed me the most was when the guy told me that you can run this over your counter for 3 seconds, 3 seconds in a spot on your counter, and it's going to be as clean as if it would have sat with bleach on it for 20 minutes.
Ooh.
Like, I mean, this stuff is just, and it's all natural. It's easy. You don't have to, it's just using water. Just water.
And so that's why so we have like conditioning systems. We have a well. So we have conditioning systems. We have UV lights in the house. We have reverse osmosis up here. And that's why you got the water from outside spigot.
Yeah.
Right? So it wouldn't have any of that.
Because I didn't want the water softener water to kind of impact like the minerals and stuff in the water. Okay. And plus we've got so many filters in our house and everything goes through so many filters. And so, but the outside spigot doesn't go through any of that because
it just goes from the well.
It goes from the well because you wouldn't want to run your hose through a water softener because then you're going to be spraying that salt on your plants and it's just going to kill your plants eventually.
Okay.
So we will get the water from the outside and it will be amazing.
So
you want me to clean
I want you
right.
to clean my cat. Let me get my mushrooms out of the way. I'll move some of this stuff.
All right.
Okay. We've not done this before.
You chat amongst yourselves.
I'll chat with you, don't worry. But we haven't done this, so this is, whenever I'm reviewing any kind of product, my preference is to do it this way because of this, the detail-orientedness of this product. Cheryl needed to talk to the person, but there were videos and different things that we could see. I'm taking these mushrooms away because I do not want her to accidentally vaporize or overheat my mushrooms. They probably would love some of that steam coming their way, though. Okay, I'm coming back. And then I'll look at your questions and I'll see, and I am going to have myself a little fall non-alcoholic beer. I'll show you. You guys have seen me unbox some things. And this is Athletic Brewing. It's all not non-alcoholic beer, but this is like a pumpkin dark beer. So that made me happy. And so sometimes it's just nice to have a little something. And there's no alcohol in here at all. And it's like 70 calories. And it's just water, malted barley, pumpkin, wheat, hops, spices, and yeast. So it's not a gluten-free beer or anything like that. Yeah, I know, right, Valerie? Don't vaporize the mushrooms, Cheryl. That make me sad. We got some stuff to do. That's our little fancy mushrooms. And TS says, I would be interested in seeing how the cleaner works while using hard tap water instead of distilled water. We're not using distilled water. No. We're using...
You can't use distilled water in this.
Well,
if you use distilled water, it won't work at all. I'm using something that has lots of minerals in it right now.
Spring water. I thought you got water from outside.
I didn't get it out yet.
Oh, she didn't get the water. So what she's doing is putting spring water in there, which is I was surprised by. I have not made puree from all the pumpkins. You can see them. They're there. And hopefully I'll get to it this week. I thought that this class I was going to take from 11 to 8, I'd be able to just it was a Zoom. I could take myself off and go and do a bunch of stuff in the kitchen. But it was all group work. So no, I'm behind on everything. And TS said, I had a steam cleaner before, and the steam heat ruined the caulking around the faucet. Interesting. I could see how that could that can melt it. We've have a steam carpet cleaner, but that's all. And whenever it does get used, it takes a really long time for everything to dry out because we live in a split level house. So the pesticide people, because we have to have people for termites. We get termites in our area, and so we took over the termite contract when we got this. So they come in once a year, and they're always like, well, we just have to look in your basement. And I'm like, we don't have a basement. We have the first floor and the second floor. No, that's the basement. I'm like, no, it's not. That's where my living room, that's where the den, 2 bedrooms, laundry room are. That's not a basement, but they feel that way. And I think it may be because we're on a slab is how it was built, is that, it's just that slab, then the cushioning for the carpet and that, and it just never dries. Oh, are we already late? And we're supposed to go to, there's like a little neighborhood block party. But Cheryl's getting her stuff together. Why aren't you in class, Doc? Or are you in both places? And did Paul Duncan or Aubrey tell on me? Because that block party thing is only till 6. So I may be real late, Doc. I'm sorry. Are we about ready? So we can wrap this up?
Almost ready.
Almost ready.
Gotta plug
So
her
this...
in.
And we'll put up information about this, but once we test it and try it out and stuff like that. But when I went to Branch Basics, I had looked up all the information and read all through the site. Because especially I was super motivated because that's when I was having my liver issues. Doc says at the same time, love y'all, and I caught ya. All right, Valerie, you go have a good time in class. I'll probably see you in a little bit. You're great. So my video class, or like mastermind class, this is a non-alcoholic dark and Gordy beer, Mr. Doc, from Athletic Brewing Company. It's delicious. He's always like, you just drinking it up. Bring on that drinking class. And I'm like, it's non-alcoholic. And what Doc would probably say to me is like, well, what's your excuse for being a fool? Right, Valerie? Valerie was asking. So like Aubrey, Valerie, Paul, Doc, all those are people from my class that are just delightful people. You guys already know about Aubrey and are following Aubrey on her channel, right? For her motivational minute-ish. Because I think it's just so cool and it's so easy to do. I wasn't prepared for this to take this long. From Cheryl. Is everything going okay?
So I just need to plug it in somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, I can take care of that.
Okay.
We can just plop it back here. I'll unplug the Breville. Can't be that much more pull than the Breville is. Okay. So explain what you're doing to the people.
Okay, so
oh, what class? Oh, I'm not teaching a class. I go to class at 5 o'clock. Starting next week, it'll be 4 o'clock. Every Saturday, it's Doc Rock has a live video class. And we talk about all the things about content creation and get cool ideas, hopefully, that make things better for you guys who are watching me and hanging out. But class starts at 5 and it's 5:03 and we're not there. And also we had a neighbor the guys who sold us our house, Sid and Gary, bought a house behind us and we became friends for like 10 or 11 years and they sold their house. The new people who are there are having a little block party. So we're supposed to go over there or else we'll seem very antisocial and rude. And I don't want people today, like you guys. You guys are okay, right? Because you're my community. You're amazing. But they could be amazing too. So we'll see.
just letting the heat up.
Okay, so tell the people what you're doing and I'll move out of the way so they can.
Okay, so I decided to use. I gotta add more water.
There's not enough. She's trying to do it. I thought she filled up the water from downstairs already. So let's see. Anybody got some questions while she's filling this up? This is like when I did the demo of the Ninja Creamy Deluxe. Do y'all remember that? And I couldn't get the thing out. So like we don't do any like extra research. Doc says, I teach her to be nice to y'all. Doc, do you have a website? Go look up Doc Rock on YouTube. Let me see if I can get you his thing. Now he curses, so just be prepared for that. If you have to be a little okay with that. Let me find. I am literally looking up on YouTube. But if you're ever looking to do some video, and Angela, I know you are, you can get some really great ideas. He will have you spending all your money, like all your money. So know that. He's the equipment guru guy. So this is Doc's. And if Valerie, Paul, any of you guys are around, you can put your stuff in there. I'm down with cursing. Well, outside of here, perhaps sometimes things happen. But I know that some people who are in here, it means something different too. So I try to keep it clean for the masses. But I also like to warn everybody. So yes. Doc. Yeah. Angela, Doc is who teaches us. Like we're getting a new camera and Doc will help us set it up and stuff. Doc's super smart. Hopefully he's gone and not hearing all the things now. Oh, Silverhead Fitness says your pleasant disposition will rub off on your new neighbors. Now Doc's going to come say something sarcastic about that too. Probably. Yeah, it's a bit spicy for some. And I try to, I want everyone to be happy. Oh, yep, Doc's still here. Doc's going to take credit for it all. I can't believe you're hanging out with me and doing the class I'm supposed to be in right now. But I'll drink a little dark and Gordy to that. Okay, while she's finishing that up, for those of you who've been in and maybe didn't get to see the stew that I was starting, ooh, it's cooking. It smells so good. So I started off making this dinner. There's some miso in there. There's some bouillon cubes of mine. They're Italian oyster mushrooms that I made. These are herbs from the garden. There's oregano, thyme, rosemary, kind of infusing in there some cannellini beans, some cut up red potatoes, like right there, some acorn squash. Oh, and we put a little bit of port wine in there too. So we've got kind of as our base, as the mushrooms are cooking down, they're putting in that like really good umami flavor out there, adding some miso into that. My bouillon is just onion, carrots, celery, and nutritional yeast. And then the port wine just kind of adds a little bit of that. And you can already smell, remember earlier when I put it in, it smelled just like, it was like, oh, you would think it was just going to all smell like that and you wouldn't taste anything else. But the heat's really rounded that flavor out quite a bit. No worries. We're just glad that you were here. Doc says he's multitasking. Now I know why you space out in class. You're multitasking. That's going to go on your report card. Okay. And Doc is probably, I'm going to get in class. You know what Doc is going to say? Y'all should test out your stuff before you go live. But the reason I don't, and the reason we do this live is so you can say, okay, now we'll know, oh, you need X amount of water. That maybe it said somewhere she didn't read. Maybe it didn't. Just like when I'm pulling stuff out. Because I think it's important when you're getting a new appliance to see somebody else mess it up first. is really what I think. Because then you'll be like, oh, Cheryl had to do that a couple times. You're going to get frustrated a little less is the goal. And so does it have to heat up until it's ready? Is that something it does?
It's heating up.
Okay, so it does have to. I know nothing. What does it mean to burp the steam vapor machine? That makes me a little bit.
You have to burp it so that you can get the steam to start. So I don't know.
Okay, so does the burp it mean you just push it? You just push the lever.
You click the trigger.
Click the trigger.
Stops doing drippies, and then you get a beautiful steam.
Now that's what I get behind. So you click that till the drippies stop, and you get some steam. That's something translated that I can understand.
And I'm going to put this little cleaner on here because I'm going to do this these labels when we're done.
You're going to what?
I'm going to do the labels when we're done.
Okay. Well, let's just...
So for right now, let's just come over and...
We'll do that. Jay Gary says, what kind of bouillon do you buy? Looking to flavor vegan Thanksgiving gravy. I would use poultry seasoning blend to flavor your gravy. And I think I have one out here. Here, let's do this. Look at the camera so you can...
Can you guys hear me now?
It's because you've made my mouse double click or something.
Okay, I got to change the double click on the mouse for her then.
But, okay, so what we were using is this little one. And so you put this over it?
I put this over it so it could kind of collect the dirt as I was moving across there.
Okay, and that's why you put that on.
Yeah.
Is it possible to use it without that?
Yeah, you can use it without it too.
It's just like so I could just do it here. Could you do it like this? Just do some of it?
Yeah, but it's just going to move stuff around. Like, I mean, now I got to burp it again.
Okay.
Hold on.
But couldn't I just wipe the dirt off, or that just that messes up the whole?
Well, I would not just wipe the dirt off. I mean, I use this to collect the dirt, but let me burp it again.
Okay, so we saw how water came out. Okay, now you can see the steam. You can see it really good on the camera.
Yep, you see the steam? I don't want to hit anything electronic. And that's just at a 1. Okay. So, I mean, this thing is going to be awesome sauce. Okay. Right?
And it could be that we've just been live too long. We were only going to go live for like So, sorry about whatever's going on. I think we've outlasted our mics, is what's happened. So, I've got the one I usually wear by myself. So, sorry about that, you
We're gonna
guys.
have that mic situation rectified.
We've got some good stuff coming up. So, anyhow, we're going to let you go. We're going to be eating the stew over some rice. We're going to be doing some more demos with the Ladybug.
Yep. I'm definitely going to show you guys all the things. I've got a bathroom project. I've got these labels I'm going to do in just a few minutes. And like I said, sometime probably late after Thanksgiving or early December, we're going to do the dog couch, right?
Yeah, we got some decluttering happening to get to the couch. And it's not a dog couch. It's a really nice couch that we got from Macy's that has been kind of printed on by the animals in a way. So basically, we just wanted to give you just a little sneak peek. So sorry it took a little longer to sneak peek it, but that's the benefit of us unboxing and doing stuff and not practicing, because you see that it might take you a little bit longer your first time.
And this thing definitely has a learning curve to it, a learning curve on how you move it, a learning curve on like how much steam you actually use. I was using it on the lowest setting. I think for most things that I'm going to do, probably it will stay between the 1 and the 2 setting. And I think you're going to see some amazing transformations with this. So I'm very excited to show you guys the rest of this.
I am very excited to have Cheryl be cleaning all the things in the house. And thanks, Silverhead Fitness. I'm glad you like the yummy food. And you guys, thanks for being so sweet and awesome with us. And so some of these demos we're going to do with the Ladybug, we're going to do pre-record and edit it out so you don't have to sit through all this.
Yeah.
But we'll do each of the projects, and it's like, I usually dye my hair purple. It's about time for that to happen again. So there's a little purple on the bathtub.
Be interesting to see
if it cleans up or not. So,
and they do send a little they have a little bottle of stuff that they send.
So there is a cleaner that goes with it that you can use for really tough jobs, like some of the things that we're going to try. So we might try it without and with, and then see what happens and tell you how our mileage goes. So same thing, like this floor back here, we need to look at it, and it kind of needs to be replaced anyhow. So if it doesn't get cleaned with this, then we need to just rip it out and put a new floor in the kitchen. The kitchen is not actually that giant, so it's not as big of a project as it sounds. But we want to give you all the little details on that, kind of the way I did the Ninja Creamy. So if you're into the Ladybug, you can watch all the things as we do them. If not, we're still going to be doing all the food and all our McDougall chats and all that stuff too. I have a bunch of things that I'm going to be unboxing and showing you guys too. I know it's the holiday.
I bet this will do a good job on cleaning the rim of that. It'll do a good job on cleaning the rim of the Instant Pot too. Oh, I've got so many things.
Yeah, we can try that too. So here's one of the things is that we'll just see how it all works, and we're just going to tell you how things work for us, and we can see. So we don't know any more than you know yet.
Well, and one of the great things that I learned from the customer service rep was that you can actually also like use this to blow out things too, like where there's like if you've got a ridge and you've got like a bunch of
like in all my
dirt.
cooking appliances, my small appliances.
Yeah, I just have to, be careful that I don't get it in any of the workings or anything.
We'll
but-
start it with one that's less expensive or something like that, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
So that
but-
way you guys don't have to practice on yours. We'll practice on
But
ours.
he was saying, the customer service rep was saying he uses it in his toaster oven. So
That would be amazing,
we'll
because
see.
if
Once
you
I get
have
real
a
good at
Breville,
it-
like
once I get real good at it, the movement and stuff like that, I'll give it a try.
Okay, we'll do it, because one of the things about the Breville too is so the heating elements are covered, but stuff drips down on the heating elements. And by stuff, I'm not talking about the oil off your frozen French fries, right? Because I'm doing whole food, plant-based, no oil. However, you poke some holes in sweet potatoes, and that stuff's going to ooze out and get on down there anyhow. But we're going to run, and we will be talking to you guys very soon. I'll make sure to go ahead and jump over on the Heartbeat group. It's free if you're not already there. If you're not sure how to get there, look at one of my other videos, because I have nothing for this description yet, but I will put it there. But have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, it's going to be a good weekend because you're going to get all your cleaning dreams to come true.
It's not going to happen this weekend.
It will.
Mm.
I'm going to use it on labels. Those labels have been
Yes,
a pain when you're behind all morning.
something will happen today for sure. But you guys go, have a good time. Enjoy the last daylight of 5 p.m. until tomorrow when it all mucks up and when we go into daylight savings time. Everybody have an amazing rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you really soon. Bye.